Winston asks a question. He says that before we got cut off, you were mentioning sending away the women and children. But
Ezra 10.
Ezra 10. We talked about this last week, and
I think my view is that Ezra is an important book. Ezra and Nehemiah, important book. Also, here's just a footnote. The Masoretic tradition has Ezra and Nehemiah as the last book in the Bible, not Chronicles. Chronicles reflects a rabbinic rework of Masoretic tradition. So the Masoretic, the scribes that actually preserved the text kept a different canonical order, and I think it's important to remember that. Because the Tanakh ends, then if the Tanakh ends with Ezra and Nehemiah, it's not really a positive note. It's a note of uncertainty of the future. Whereas when they put 2nd Chronicles at the end, they're trying to bring closure, where the king says, whoever wants to go up to Jerusalem, let him go up. And so there's an ideological difference between the canonical order of books, but that's just a footnote. Ezra 10 ends with confession of sin, right? There's just like we see in Nehemiah 9 and Daniel 9, we see a heartfelt cry out to God with confession, acknowledgement of sin of the fathers and of not listening to the prophets, of the curse of the Torah being on the people, and there's a sense of this devastation that turning from God's ways has rightly brought, right? So whether it's Ezra 9 or Daniel 9, they're not saying it's unjust, right? They're saying God is just, and this is just. The curse of the Torah on us is just. We have sinned. And there's a desire then to seek unto righteousness. Well, Daniel, the end of Daniel 9, he's given a vision from Gabriel about the Messiah. So the exile that Daniel's experiencing, the repentance that we see, and it's like not our righteousness, it's your righteousness. We are under the curse of the Torah. We have sinned for your name's sake. You know, he's looking to the restoration of Jerusalem, and he's told about the Messiah to come. Okay, so this is the Torah leading to Messiah, right? The Torah, by the Torah is the knowledge of sin. Daniel, you see it in Ezra or in Nehemiah 9. Real heavy weight of the reality of sin, right. and the desire for God to make things right. Well, God's only going to bring Messiah. God's not going to hasten back. I mean, because we're before Yeshua now, right? We're talking about Daniel and Nehemiah and Ezra. God's not going to hasten redemption. Messiah's coming when he's going to come,
right?
And it's fixed.
Yep.
But Daniel is, he's fasting and praying. He's reading the book of Jeremiah. So he's thinking about the Brit Hadashah. He's concerned about forgiveness of sins, of atonement. All these things are in Daniel 9. And he's told about the Mashiach. Well, we see a similar prayer of confession in Nehemiah. Ezra, however, we see a confession, but there's this strange thing that happens at the end of Ezra. This guy comes in and tells him, well, we should really, a lot of us took wives that we shouldn't have taken, and God probably doesn't like it. I'm totally paraphrasing here. He doesn't say probably. We need to get rid of these women. And so they do, and they make a covenant. And it says, let us make a covenant with God. So they have all these men, they get together, they make this covenant. And then the book of Ezra ends, and then it's cricket sounds. We're never told that God was pleased with this, that God accepted the terms of the covenant. We're not told that God has a covenant with Ezra. Where do we learn that? All we know is that men got together and just decided that they were going to make a covenant with God. And it's the end. And I think that we're supposed to see that it's unresolved.
Right.
Even Nehemiah 10. How does Nehemiah 10 end? It ends with, or whatever the last chapter, is it Nehemiah 13? Sorry, I'm going back and forth here. Nehemiah ends with he's like trying to enforce some Sabbath law, and it seems like nobody's listening. And he just basically lifts up his hands and says, Lord, remember me for good. I tried, and that's how it ends.
Right. Don't miss any clips from Messiah Matters by clicking the subscribe button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and share it so other people can see it too.